In January of 1998, 17 children who had been missing for 15 years were found in the back of an abandoned parking lot in Texas. To this day, the police have never solved the case, and the kidnapper roams free. Even more frightening, every one of these children grew up to become a murderer. Many questions still remain, including how did 17 missing kids from different parts of the globe all end up in a parking lot in Texas? In light of this situation, there is one positive. The entire story was made up, not by me, but by an artificial intelligence algorithm. It's really quite scary, and I'll tell you why. Because all I told the AI algorithm was, in January of 1998, 17 children, and it completed the story. You know, maybe the AI could have written about how these children were at a birthday party, or how they went to an amusement park, but no. Instead, they all grew up to be murderers. So how can an AI generate an entire fake story? To understand this, let's dive into generative adversarial networks, or for short, GANs. We will begin this journey first by discussing how the algorithm works, next by exploring its modern implications, and lastly, generating some of its future applications. Generative adversarial networks. It sounds convoluted in itself, but very simply, a GAN is an AI algorithm that generates new data. For example, this entire background poster was generated by AI. Now the algorithm is split into a generator and a discriminator. During the training process, the generator will generate new data, and the discriminator will determine whether that data seems real or fake. If the discriminator calls it fake, the generator will improve to make the data more real. You can think of it like a counterfeit criminal and the police. The criminal wants to create counterfeit money that is so real that it will fool the police. The better the police are at spotting fake money, the better the criminal will have to get at counterfeiting. To help you better understand this concept, I turn to an expert on this topic, Homer Simpson. In this example, the generator had the goal of creating a realistic image of Homer Simpson from a blank image. Let's look at the training process. In the first trial, the generator produced an image that looks nothing like the Mr. Simpson we all know and love. And the discriminator simply said, "That's fake. It looks nothing like him." So it went back to the generator and it produced a better image. And it improved. Again and again and again. Continuously going back and forth between the generator and discriminator. After many trials, the generator was able to produce an image of Mr. Simpson so realistic enough to fool the discriminator to thinking it was really him. Now, GANs were only developed 6 years ago by Ian Goodfellow, the director of machine learning at Apple. And already, GANs are becoming one of the most prominent and powerful artificial intelligence algorithms in the modern world. As we saw with the Homer Simpson example, GANs are exceptional at generating images. And fortunately, it's not limited to Homer Simpson. GANs can be trained to create realistic human photographs, images of places, and pictures of animals. Yes, that's right. None of these people or animals actually exist. None of these are real places. In addition to generating images from scratch, GANs can also do image transformations. Let me show you an example. Imagine that I wanted to draw a painting of a beach. All I would have to do is sketch a picture. I would draw the ocean, maybe the sun, and voila! You have a terrible sketch. The generative network will take this terrible sketch and transform it into a realistic image. The website AIartist.org also similarly employs GANs for producing anime characters, generating more of your handwriting, or allowing you to make yourself into a cartoon. In fact, according to FaceApp, which is a facial transformation app that uses GANs, apparently this is how I would look like as a girl or as an exuberant grandma. In addition, GANs can be also used for audio generation. In 2018, a musician, Tarin Southern, released a music album named I Am AI. Amassing hundreds of thousands of listens, the album shocked people as they realized every song in it was generated by AI. Furthermore, Justin Bieber has also had a lot to say about GANs. Just this year, he alarmingly stated, "We must take up arms against generative networks as they seep into the music industry. It is only ethically imperative that we fight back." Okay, Justin didn't actually say that, but that's what an AI could make Justin Bieber say through what is known as a deepfake. Deepfakes are videos that can be created by GANs where you can make anyone say whatever you want them to say, or anyone be wherever you want them to be. Using the deepfake platform Reface, I can even morph my face onto the Hulk in the Avengers movie. But with GANs becoming increasingly accurate, could we identify ourselves what media is AI generated versus real? To understand this, we are going to play a fun game that I call You Are the Discriminator. The game is simple. I'm going to show you two samples and you will identify which is real and which was made by AI. Okay, first we have two faces. I'll give you only 3 seconds to pick which you think is fake. 3, 2, 1. This one was the one generated by AI. Okay, that was a bit hard, but now let's move to poems. The first one. The oxygen around my head is rabid, filled with orange light, like an equinautical tiger to its flesh. And the second one. Will anybody speak of this the way the flowers do? The way the common speaks of the fearless, dying leaves. Okay, I read them both. 3, 2, 1. This one was AI generated. Okay, last one. This time it's paintings. Alright. 3, 2, 1. This one was the one generated by AI. If you got all 3 of them correct, I applaud you. You beat the machine. If you got none of them correct, well, I hope you're not a robot. So we get it. GANs are scarily accurate. But what if instead of producing fun videos of Justin Bieber, GANs are creatively used to deceive and induce harm? Imagine a world where you're scrolling through social media, neither you nor anyone else can decipher which images, which news articles, which videos are artificially generated or real. 2 years ago, BuzzFeed released a synthetic video of Barack Obama saying some malevolent words about Trump to warn people about the harms of deepfakes. In fact, Facebook has already instituted bans of deepfakes in the context of an election. And science journalist Sally Adi also details the possibility, some real examples, of GANs being used for hacking into personal bank accounts, framing people of murder in video. However, as GANs revolutionize fake news, they are also beginning to have positive, trailblazing effects in other areas as well. For example, in criminal justice, a victim could describe the criminal and an AI could generate a sketch or realistic image of what they may look like. Or in healthcare, in silico medicine, it's using GANs for discovering new drug treatments. Not only that, but Jason Brownlee in 2019 also used GANs for satellite imaging, which could transform pictures of the Earth into maps. As a whole, the potential for GANs is through the roof, and Jan LeCun, a leading AI researcher, described GANs as the most interesting idea in the last 10 years in machine learning. Throughout, We explore the process by which GANs generate data, and their real-world applications in art, music, healthcare, criminal justice, politics, among much more. Now the question is, will we irresponsibly use GANs to frame politicians and murderers? Or can we enable generative networks to do something as crazy as mapping the world or curing diseases? To this I say, yes, we can.